So are you afraid of going on a cruise because of motion sickness and seasickness? Well, don't, because we're here to tell you how you can get around this, both medically and natural remedies. So first of all is picking the right position on the ship if you do suffer particularly bad from seasickness or motion sickness. You can really reduce this by picking a cabin which is in the middle of the ship instead of the outer edges, because when you think about it, if you're on the outer edges, the movement is higher and lower.
Yeah, it is.
So you feel the effects towards the front and the back of the ship. So we recommend picking a cabin right in the mid of the ship. The lower down you are as well, the less roll you get. So not only do ships move up and down in the sea, but they roll as well. So the lower down you are as well, the less rolling you get, I guess, so the less movement. So definitely it's all about picking the correct place on a ship.
That's why sometimes inside cabins are also better because they are closer to the centre.
Exactly, as far centre to the gravity you can get of the ship, the less movement there's going to be.
But don't let this put you off getting a cabin, maybe a balcony cabin or higher up, as larger ships had less movement, so you don't actually feel the movement as much. And newer ships have new stabilisation technology to reduce the amount of movement on the ship.
If you are feeling sick while on board, we do recommend you go outside as well. Feel some of that fresh air, face the forward, get a view of the horizon. There's plenty of outdoor places on ships. We like to spend loads of our time outdoor anyway, don't we? It's really nice. And if you are inside, sit by a window just so you can see the horizon, just so it puts your mind at rest. Some people also say that you can talk yourself out of seasickness because it's all in your head a little bit. So if you keep saying to yourself, I do not feel sick, I feel fine, I feel emotion, but it's okay. Sometimes, apparently, you can talk yourself out of this.
Okay.
Because it's kind of a mental thing as well. I know it's all about the equalisation and the equilibrium of your ears.
So instead of there's no place like home, there's no place like home, there's no such thing as seasickness.
Exactly.
There's no such thing as seasickness.
So don't panic, think nice and calm, breathe deeply and be like,
yeah,
I do not feel seasickness. These waves are absolutely lovely. I'm just floating around like a little angel and it's
Also, you can cruise more. Now, this may sound a bit crazy, thinking you've been on a cruise, you were seasick, I'd never do that again. But the more you cruise, the more desensitized you'll become to the seasickness. So the more you cruise, the better your experience will be.
Definitely, this is very true. I suffered from really bad seasickness when I started cruising. It was completely cured with medication, but now I don't even have to take medication because I've cruised so many times now. My body's kind of used to the motion and it actually quite likes it.
Do you not think as well the first time you cruise, you were thinking, I'm going to get, like you said, I'm going to get seasick?
Yeah, and I think it puts so many people off because they've been on little ferries or smaller ships or little catamarans. So if you've got it in your mind, I think you've kind of convinced yourself that you are going to be. But these ships are much less claustrophobic than smaller ships, aren't they?
Exactly, yeah.
So there's so much room, so much fresh air you can go and get. But yeah, do not let it put you off because it's such a tiny thing, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
So some foods that are supposed to help. I think most people have heard that ginger really helps.
Yeah.
So you can have this in a number of ways: ginger powder, ginger ale, fresh ginger,
ginger teas,
ginger tea, ginger sweets, things like that. So apparently that gives it a nice relaxed feel and takes away some of the seasickness.
Helps settle your stomach as well.
Yeah, and some people swear by eating green apples as well, ordering lots of green apples to their room service or with the meals. But apparently there's something to help with seasickness, so it might be worth a try.
Also, fizzy drinks can help as they contain phosphoric acid, which helps settle a stomach. As well as foods that can help, there's also foods that you really should avoid if you do feel seasick. So this is greasy or spicy foods. Try avoiding them because they can irritate your stomach and things and really flare up the seasickness.
Definitely, and I guess overeating, which is so easy whilst doing a cruise. If you overeat, that can naturally make you feel sick. Yeah. So with some motion, that can sort of really mix things up in not the right way. So I don't know if you've been car sick before.
Yeah.
In a car, the worst thing you can do is stare at objects that you think are still. So things like reading a book or just staring at a compass or something or a clock and trying to sort of get your body to work itself out, that can actually be quite bad. Do you know when you're reading a book in a car and you can sort of feel more sick?
I can't do that.
Yeah, you need to go find a window or go outside, just look at the horizon, then you'll be fine.
It's taking your mind off it as well. If you're sat in the front of a car, you're looking at the road signs and things like that. And it's a similar thing with a cruise ship is, you're not just going to be sat in a room staring at the walls. There's so much to do on cruise ships that it will take your mind off it.
If it is a little bit wobbly and you're at a bar at the front of the ship, go find one in the centre, where the centre of gravity is a little bit better and less movement. It really does work.
Where you cruise and when you cruise can make a big difference to the motion of the ship. Calmer seas can be found in the Gulf of Mexico, the Mediterranean, as well as the Caribbean.
Yeah, and you're going to find choppier seas in real deep oceans. So Atlantic Ocean, Atlantic, transatlantic crossings, Pacific crossings, things like that. But please don't let it put you off, because these can sometimes be quite fun. The motion of the ocean. You can just lay back on your back. That's where you're supposed to be in bed.
Take your mind off it. Innuendo.
I know, right? So you just lay back, think of England and love the waves.
Take your mind off it with some physical activity.
Exactly. So some people swear by sea bands or pressure bands. These are sort of like a little bracelet which hit one of your pressure points in your nerves or something, and apparently that can stop seasickness. But it is still debated whether or not this is a placebo effect or if it actually works.
And don't waste your money on magnetic devices, as there's no evidence that these even work, so...
Yeah, why waste your money? And one last tip while we're on the subject of non-medical tips is to choose a cruise with a port-intensive itinerary where there's much less time spent at sea.
Exactly.
So if it is going to be a big issue, do that. Okay, before we move on to the next section where we're going to talk about some medications, any information that we give in the show is purely for information purposes only and should not replace medical advice. So we do recommend going to see your doctor. If you have any questions or any allergies or anything like that, go see your doctor first before taking any medication.
So the downsides of taking medication is that they can cause side effects such as dizziness and dry mouth.
Exactly, so the last thing you want to do when you're on holiday is to feel drowsy or dizzy, so see if you can get some non-drowsy versions of medication if possible. And you've got to be really careful as well when drinking alcohol, because these can increase and exuberate, as they can increase these symptoms such as drowsiness and dry mouth, so you'll feel really, really dizzy and have an incredibly dry mouth. So drink more alcohol. Don't do that.
With ginger ale.
With ginger ale,
Vodka ginger ale.
Vodka ginger, there we go. 2 birds with 1 stone. That's not recommended, don't do that. So some over-the-counter medications that you can usually buy are Dramamine, Zline and Mezline. And yeah, they're good. Apparently they work quite well. And Bonine. Sounds like a dog medication. But yeah, so I'll write them down here so you can see them, because I literally cannot pronounce them. If you have kids who suffer from bad seasickness as well, make sure you get the kids version. I know you can get kids versions of Bonine and Benadryl. So it'll give them the correct dosage, it'll be less potent and right for them.
Stronger medication is available on prescription from your doctor, but if you choose to visit the doctor on board the ship, this could be really, really costly. So we recommend that you visit your doctor at home before you cruise, and you get your prescription as well before you set sail. Yeah,
the most important thing is to be prepared. Make sure you have a good range of things to take on board so you're not screwed over by the costs on the board doctor.
And we say that with everything as well. Even
Definitely.
the most simple things such as painkillers and headache tablets and stuff. Just make sure that you take plenty of these on the cruise with you.
So the most common type of prescription medication is the transderm scop, which is a scolopamine patch. I think I pronounced that correctly.
That sounds like some sort of medical procedure.
It really does. Basically, all it is, it's a little band-aid or a plaster which you place behind your ear.
Okay, yeah.
We've saw these from people on the cruise. If you've been on a cruise before, you would have saw loads of random people walking around with a circular patch.
Yeah, because I was thinking, God, that nicotine patch. Like, I've seen loads of people with like nicotine patches.
Why has a 7-year-old got a nicotine patch? But yeah, basically, it gives you medication over a 3-day period, so it lasts much longer, and apparently they work wonders, so it might be worth a look. So as you can see, there is nothing, especially seasickness or motion sickness, that should ruin your cruise. There's always a way around it. There's plenty of natural remedies and medical remedies.
Yeah, and if you've been on a cruise before and you did experience motion sickness, don't let it put you off doing another cruise, because every cruise is completely different. And even seasoned cruisers like us get seasickness sometimes, so you have experienced it quite a few times as well.
And it's been fixed by using some of our natural remedies, especially the ginger ale really works with me, and using some medication. I like Bonine and Dramamine. I like this drug and that drug.
You have your little flip chart.
Yeah, I have a little flip chart of my drugs. No, but seriously, it's really important to be prepared, isn't it?
Yeah, because, I mean, sometimes we've had to get medications in port and it's just cost an absolute fortune.
Well, yeah, you're in port at a pharmacy. What do you think they're going to charge most for?
Sun cream, medication. They're the two things. And we've forgotten them before as well.
So don't get ripped off. Make sure you go to your local supermarkets such as Target or Walmart or Tesco's or Sainsbury's or
Savers.
Asda or Savers or Australian supermarkets.
Woolworths in Australia.
Woolworths in Australia, apparently. Yeah. So make sure you get your medications locally. Let us know in the comments below. We would love to know what helped you with seasickness.
And hopefully help others as well that are worried about it.
Yeah, let's share the knowledge. So I think that's it for this week.
In the meantime, you can find us on Instagram, where we're at Honest Cruising, and we're posting loads of pictures of cruise ships and destinations all the time. And don't forget to subscribe for more videos just like this one.
Until next time, happy cruising. The thingamabobs. Does this actually turn on?
Mm-hmm. There you go. But it goes on for now for about 10 minutes.
Oh, slow. Oh, really?
Yeah. There's no off.
How do I turn it off? Right.
It's still
I can
going.
still hear it. It's downstairs. Oops. Is it going still?